Let's go to 750,000 to a million. A suburb I've mentioned plenty of times before, so sorry for people that don't like me doing that. But, as I said, I stick to my fundamentals and I stick to where it works. It's as simple as that. So that suburb is Mayfield in Newcastle. Look, Mayfield's about $850,000 to $880,000 at the moment, but it's really becoming kind of like your second sort of town centre of Newcastle. Now, this is a photo just from about, I'd say 10 or so years ago. It looks very different to this today, but this is the sort of town centre where Maitland Road and kind of Hanbury and Vine Street intersect. So, look, you'll notice just here that Mayfield has an exceptional walk score around the town centre. Now, you've got the new Coles going in there. It's actually already open. You've got all these new cafes and restaurants that are down there. You've got even facilities like physiotherapists and that kind of thing you get down there too. It's close to John Hunter and Calvary Mater Hospital. Actually, to the left of this image, you can see just kind of Mayton, Newcastle. That's Calvary Mater there. It's close to the University Precinct 2. It has stations and buses straight in the CBD. They only take, I think, to Newcastle interchange about 7 or 8 minutes or so. It's very close. So it's a very good suburb to consider. And you're getting like 4% flat yield in Mayfield. And the suburb's done like 8 to 10% capital growth long term. So for those people that are kind of anti-Victoria at the moment, it's a great suburb to consider. I see properties all the time here that are excellent buys. And a lot of young families are buying here and doing these sort of houses up. So you'll see that just driving around the suburbs. So it's just incredible, especially for under $1 million and even under 900K. So Mayfield's definitely a suburb to consider. Look, another suburb I'd like everyone to consider is a suburb called Killarney Vale. And yes, I've mentioned this before, but this suburb is exceptional to buy in, simply because it occupies a very good pocket of the Central Coast. And again, it's gentrified a lot. Similar to Braybrook, it actually had about 60% public housing in the early 2000s. Now it has, I think it's something like 7, so it's nearly entirely been sold off. And it occupies a pocket right between Wyong and Tuggerah and between kind of there sort of and Terrigal, and also your lifestyle pocket of should I say, the entrance. So look, a thing about suburbs that generally do well is wherever the industry is in the city or developing industry, line up that and the water, and generally the suburbs right in between the best lifestyle area and also the best sort of or the employment area. Generally they're the most expensive. So good example, Point Piper, Bellevue Hill in Sydney, right between Bondi, right between the CBD. Another good example, somewhere like Dalkeith or somewhere like Claremont in Perth, right between Cottesloe and City Beach, right between the CBD. Another example, Elwood, Chirac, Albert Park, right between the CBD, right between Brighton Beach. There's your example. So Killarney Vale's got that. And I'm telling you right now, the demographics are improved incredibly recently because of what's happened in the suburbs. So it's starting to gentrify quite significantly. So you'll see median weekly household income in 2006, $735, $1,404 median monthly mortgage repayment. Then now, $1,524 median weekly household income, $1,907 median monthly mortgage repayment. So well affordable for people that live there. And that ratio is improving incredibly. And that ratio will show you just how much the suburb has and is gentrifying at the moment. So definitely one to consider.